Hello guys, I'm still ill, still sound like this. Why am I dressing now? Because it's cold in here and I'm ill, so you're gonna have to deal with that. Okay, so, because I can't really do anything, I'm gonna try a new craft, because that's just who I am as a person. I'm having the window open because, well, I'll get into it in a little bit. If you can't hear me very well, I apologise. I literally cannot speak louder than this. And yeah. The window needs to be open for the craft that I'm about to do. So, as you guys know, I do resin. However, during the winter months, I can't do it because you need to do it in a well-ventilated place because the gases that come off it when you mix the two parts together can be quite dangerous. So I do it outside in the shed. However, the disadvantage of doing it in the shed is that you need a certain temperature for the resin to set, otherwise it will not set properly, the chemical reaction will not take place. So, I'll be looking into alternatives to resin, and I came across Jesmonite. So I have this starter kit, which my uncle and family bought me for Christmas. Thank you very much for that. There is currently a worldwide Jesmonite shortage, which is a bit of a problem. However, I've got this stuff, gonna give it a go. There's not a lot in there, so I'm planning on just using this whole kit now, and then I'll try and buy some more at a later date. The reason I'm looking into this is that you can use a lot of the same materials as resin, so I can do this in the winter and I don't need to buy a bunch of things. There's a few things that I haven't bought I need to buy that I'm hoping I can get away with not using today, but we'll see what happens. Now I'm thinking about it, I should probably take dressing on off so I don't get Jesmonite all over it. The other thing about Jesmonite, because you can do it indoors, I don't need to be wearing a big ventilator like I normally do. However, I haven't done a lot of research into this, and because it is still quite a fine dust, I have my window open and I'm also going to be wearing a COVID mask, just in case, mainly because I'm still getting over whatever is wrong with my throat, so I didn't want to, make it worse, so that is why the window is open. Though as far as I'm aware from what people have said, it's not necessary, but people were saying that about resin at first as well, so. Okay, so we have some instructions. I have all of the bits, so I've got all the kit here. I'll show you as I need it. I also don't have any specific Jesmonite mixing pots yet. I'll buy some silicone, so I have these two empty fruit boxes. There's only some bits of fruit powder in the bottom, it's fine. And then this jar, which I think used to have jam in it, which I got out of the recycling bin, so it'll do. So our plan is to try and have a go at some other colours. So apparently this makes 4 squares or 6 hexagons. So the moulds that they've given me are these two coaster moulds. So there's this hexagonal mould. I actually already have a few of these. This square mould, which I didn't have one of these. I did have a few of these though, but moulds don't last forever, especially when you're using resin because they heat up and affect the silicone. So that's fine with me. I'll use some new moulds, always use moulds. I do have some more exciting moulds in my resin supplies, but again, I want to keep it simple. I'm just giving it a go. This is my first time trying it. So again, I think I have everything. Let's have a look at instructions. If this is your first time using Jesmonite, then you are in good hands. Jesmonite is a non-toxic acrylic resin and mineral system. It was originally designed as a building material and has become popular in craft industries to make decorative creations. And it's got it also says I'll need disposable cups, scales, a plastic sheet if I wish to experiment with terrazzo, which is not what I'm going to do today. And then it's got a QR code to see YouTube tutorials, but I've already watched quite a few tutorials, so I think I'm okay on that front. But we'll find out. This is just for playing around. I didn't pay for this. This was just a present, so we're just going to have a go. So the first thing that you need is to weigh out the liquids and the powders. So I have my scales, although do they need batteries? If anyone in my house is watching this and these are your scales, I'm sorry, I needed to borrow them until I fix my things. Slowly mix the base together until it's smooth and free of lumps. Cool, that's what I've got these lollipop sticks for. They've given me 3 pigments. They've given me blue, yellow and red. Pour the mixture into the mould until level. Air can get trapped in your finished creations. Gently tap the sides of the mould after pouring. Leave your creation to set for 2 hours in a cool, dry place. 56 grams of liquid and 144 grams of Jesmonite for the square one. Well, I don't normally do square, I normally do hexagonal, so let's do the square one. I'm just going to reposition you guys so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to do it into this jar that was in the recycling bin. And I'm going to put my mask on. I'm doing 56 grams of liquid. I was just thinking that's a lot. It's because it's set to ounces, not to grams. Yep, that's too much. Right, let's hope that I can pour this back in here. Oh, now it's not going to be on zero, is it? Oh, okay. Right, start again. That was a failure. That was just me not thinking. And I got 56, actually a little bit over 56 because of the stuff that was left in the jar. That's okay. It definitely smells. I can definitely smell it. And then we have this suspicious looking bag. And we want 114 grams of this. These are my cooking scoops, but they are clean, and I've got some new ones now, so I'm happy to sacrifice these to the Jesmonite gods. 145 grams, but I don't know. I don't know how accurate these need to be, but I guess we'll find out if that's accurate enough or not. So let's get mixing. Well, before anyone says anything, I'm sure people watching this tell me there's a million things that I'm doing wrong. When I first started my first resin video, when I did like trying out resin for the first time, there was so many things that I got wrong. So I'm perfectly anticipating that I'm going to look back on this in a year and it's going to be awful. In fact, I hope I look back on this in a year and think it's awful, because that means that I have improved. I also have heard that people use whisks for this. You can't use a whisk in resin because you'll introduce too many air bubbles, but I will definitely buy a dedicated scale and also a whisk when I eventually order some more of this stuff, if I decide that I wish to. Okay, that's as much as my wrist can do, and also that's looking pretty smooth. I would like to add some colour to some of it, so I'm going to pour some into here. Okay, so I'm going to start with like 3 drops. Again, I'm doing this based on what I would put in resin, which I don't know if that's the best idea. It's the only resin point I've got, so let's see how this turns out. And I think I'm also going to put a drop of blue in here, just to, keep it exciting. They've mixed really, really well. I really like that colour, I'm glad I put the blue in. So I'm just going to go straight for it and just... Do you know what? I like that. That splatter like that. So I'm going to do another experiment and pour this back into here and see if that gets us a really light purple, which is what I'm hoping it's going to do. Oh yeah, I don't know how well you can see that. It's actually a lot darker than I was hoping for, but that's okay. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get much more out of that, so it's not going to be completely full, but that's okay. Let's try and tap out those air bubbles. Oh look, there's already some coming to the top. Cool. It's a lot easier than it is with resin for air bubbles. My next issue is that I now can't really use this, can I? Unless I rinse it out. I don't know if I can put this down the sink. I don't know how, no, it'll just set in the sink. I'm not putting that in the sink. Okay. Okay, so I've got 3 more pots and 1 more coaster. I'm just going to get some other moulds. So let's do the hexagonal one. so it is about 2.5, 3 hours later. My camera ran out of charge, so you guys didn't see the end, but I think you got to see most of it, so we're going to do some demoulding. Okay, so I'm going to mention a few things before I start on moulding. So you saw me do something, so you saw me pour these two, which you can see a little bit underneath, and then I made this one, and then this one, and then these other little ones, and then this one is just what was left over. It didn't fill, I didn't expect it to fill. This is just what I do with resin sometimes. I'll fill this up with something else when I order some more Jesmonite. It was just so it didn't go to waste. One of the first things is that when I tried to take, so the second batch, which I did in a hurry because it was setting, sorry, the third batch that would be, I tried to shake some of the bubbles out while it was already starting to set. So it's now got this like really textured bit on the bottom, so I don't think it's going to sit. Yeah, it doesn't sit flat. Some are not better than others, but that's okay. We can deal with that again. We learn these things, so I guess we should do it in order. So we'll start with the purple one. I'm really hoping these set. That was my main question. Okay, it's set. I really like that. We have a couple of tiny little air bubbles, nothing major. It does seem to have set. There's no patches where it hasn't set because I haven't mixed it properly. It's very, very smooth. So a little bit of rough around the top because I didn't fill the mold all the way. But I might have to do some gentle sanding of that to get rid of that. But yeah, I'm happy with that. So then this was the second one that we did. Something else that I noticed on the ones that I didn't get to tap all the bubbles out of it is that the bubbles started rising to the surface as it was setting, which means I don't think I got all the bubbles out of them, so we'll see how they turned out. So yeah, you can see there's still a few little bubbles in this. I'll see if I can get an angle to show you a better close-up of it. So this one, the colours have gone a little bit more muddy than the other one, and that is because I really tried really hard to shake the bubbles out of it, and I think it's like so much of the colours a little bit, but I don't hate it, so that's okay. Again, set fine, minimal bubbles, happy with that. So let's do this one. So this was a two-tone one, no pattern on the other side, so no bubbles at all in this one. Oh no, wait, no, there is one or two in the corner, which is interesting because I thought there might be, but this one is not going to. Yeah, it doesn't sit flat, so unless I can work out how to sandpaper that. There's a few little bits of glitter from the resin that seems to have like stuck in it, so it's good to know that it won't just leave little holes like I thought it would. But yeah, again, colours really nice. This red definitely doesn't turn out red, it turns out like more pink, obviously because you're mixing it with something that's light. But yeah, so let's do my favourite mould, which again I don't think is really going to be usable because it won't sit flat, but it's okay, we're just here to experiment, so let's see how this one turns out. Okay, first off I'm seeing a lot more bubbles on this one, but I like the effect. There is more bubbles in this. I don't know if that's from the glitter or from my application. It's also not flat, but I think that's my fault from where I put the moulds. Yeah, it doesn't sit flat at all. It is really, really wobbly, but I like how it turned out, so that's okay. Maybe I'll just use it personally. None of these are good enough to sell, but you know, we're learning. And then these are the little ones. Okay, so that came out dead easy. Let's pick these bits off the bottom, which is quite satisfying. Okay, I'm not going to get that bit off. That worked, I think, really well. There we go, little ghosty friend. The bottom's not as good, it's got a bit of a lip, but that was my fault because of how I poured it. But yeah, that turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, that works really well, look. Yeah, so that came out really well. Again, there's some issues on the bottom, which I don't know if I'll be able to sandpaper off. I don't know if I can do anything with these because I don't know if I can drill Jesmonite. Again, learning. I really like the texture, especially like when you're trying to do skin things. I think the texture's, it's matte, it's much more skin-like than resin is, if that makes sense. Like, I think it ends up with a really nice effect. Yeah, this is definitely something I'm going to be doing more. I had fun doing this, and I'm going to go before I make my voice works. So if you guys have any requests or questions, leave them down in the comments. The videos every Wednesday, like, subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you next week.